Halloween storms always carry extra intensity, as if they somehow match the mood of that day in the year. I remember how powerful the thunder was, the windows rattling and the lights flickering. Even modern conveniences yield to nature, I guess. That night, however, had more to do with the supernatural than anything else. I still get goosebumps when I think about it. My parents were at a party the year this happened, so I decided to have 3 friends over while they were gone. Liam, Sophie, and Josh. We didn't feel like going trick-or-treating that night, so we ended up in the basement playing a dusty old board game. It's kind of funny how we found ourselves playing it despite my uncle's warnings. My uncle joked to me once, saying,
"Never touch that board, or you'll be cursed."
But there we were, disregarding his advice. I thought my uncle was just pulling my leg, so I figured we were safe to play it. We sat around a folding table, lit a few candles because the power was malfunctioning, and put the little pointer at the center of the board. The game was new to all of us. Liam was brave enough to get us started. "Is anyone there?" he spoke dramatically, as if to imply that the task of questioning the board was frightening. The pointer scraped slowly to yes. We laughed out loud. Sophie quipped playfully, "Nice try, Josh," she said. We assumed he was the one who moved the pointer. It seemed as though silly questions rolled right off our tongues. Will I fail math? Will Sophie marry a rock star? The responses from the pointer on the board made us crack up even harder. I almost forgot the storm outside by this point. The water dripping from the basement ceiling into a rusty pan below didn't even faze me. Then, something strange happened. Without anyone asking, the pointer shifted again. This time on its own, it landed on the 2 words, "Behind you." Our laughter was cut short. How did that? Josh turned quickly when the pointer landed, expecting something or someone to be there. All he saw was the furnace looming in the shadows. I couldn't believe it. I knew I saw the pointer move to those words, but there wasn't any logical explanation for it. "Okay, which one of you?" I started. Before I could finish, though, we all heard a heavy thunk rattle through the pipes overhead. Nobody moved a muscle. We all made eye contact, and then Liam suggested, "Wind." It wasn't convincing, his voice cracking from the uncertainty in his belief. "Old house, right?" Then another noise. This time it was lighter, like a shoe scuffing the concrete. What was that? Sophie was the next to speak. "But basements don't have wind." She said it intensely, but quietly, as if to get our attention without disturbing someone in the next room. I grabbed the flashlight cautiously, its beam shaky, and surveyed the room, boxes, shelves, and the furnace. Nothing out of the ordinary. "Let's just pack it up," John suggested. "Wait," I said. I had to know. One more question. I placed my finger on the pointer, and that's when I asked the board, "Who are you?" It moved instantly, without hesitation. This can't be good. "Stay." Suddenly, the candle flames bent sideways, as if someone had breathed on them to put them out. A chilling draft cut through the room, goosebumps forming on my arms. "We're done," Sophie snapped, standing up as she tried to grab the board. But before she could, we noticed something in the corner of the room that stirred. It appeared darker, like it was just another space in the room, only this was pitch black. And then that darkness shifted, lifting, stretching, and a shape began to take form. It was taller than any of us, and its head scraped the low beams. The others didn't get a clear look at it, but I did. The outline. It had a face, pale and featureless, like chalk. I felt my chest drop. Then the flashlight flickered out, No, no, no. I should have listened to my uncle. I should have listened to my uncle. Whatever it was alone with us in the dark. I heard a whisper. It was Liam, petrified, saying, "Run." We bolted to the stairs, heavy steps striking the concrete behind us. I knew the figure was gaining on us, but I couldn't force myself to look back. John shoved Sophie up the stairs ahead of him, and I was the last one to make it to the ground level. I slammed the basement door. At first, I was surprised by silence, and then the knob twisted. I immediately grabbed it tightly before the door could fully open, as my heart pounded like it would break free from its cage. The figure we saw yanked the door harder than any human hand should. Just when I thought the door would give away, there was silence. I didn't hesitate any longer. I signaled to Sophie to grab the phone in the kitchen. She dialed 911 frantically, informing the operator of what we had just witnessed. My friends huddled in fear as I kept a hand on the doorknob at all times. Minutes later, a police officer arrived, and as if on cue, the power miraculously came back on. We felt dread as the police officer stepped down into the basement, the place from which we had just narrowly escaped. He flicked on the light and began rummaging through the boxes and shelves, peering at the furniture. Nothing out of the ordinary so far. No one was there, at least not anymore. There were no other footprints either. The dusty floor hadn't picked up a trace of other footsteps except for our scramble to the door. The police officer concluded the premises were clear of any other presence, his tone condescending. He looked at us as if he didn't believe our account, but didn't have the audacity to call us liars. After the police officer established we were safe, we dragged out the game to the trash, recovering our wits as best as we could. We didn't say much. It wasn't long before their parents arrived to pick them up. I had to wait in that house alone. My parents were still out, and by this time, the storm had died. The candles had burned out, and the basement door was still closed. That night was hard to sleep. Whatever I saw might still be there. I didn't tell my parents yet, but I decided the next morning I would prove to myself that it was nothing. As the sunrise illuminated the valley, I looked for the game in the trash. The only problem was, it wasn't there. I couldn't find it anywhere. I looked and looked. I finally found it. Back on the table, in the basement, with the pointer in the center. How did it? Before I could answer that thought, I saw a single word spelled out on the board. I still get shivers. All it said was, "Stay."